Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Folks, this right here is panic, it's hopium, whatever you want to call it. What it is desperation, as Democrats are forced to do what they absolutely loathe, what they avoid at all costs, and that is face reality. Folks, Nancy Pelosi's most recent presser was so incredibly telling. They just don't want to accept reality, they don't want to accept the current state of the economy, their political standing. They would rather continue lying to the American people, lying to themselves. As the meme goes, the building is burning around them and they're sitting there saying this is fine. But it's not, and deep down inside they know it, because even their own voters are giving them a serious reality check. And so that's what we're going to focus on for this video, a much needed reality check for the Democrats for Nancy Pelosi. Let me show you guys exactly what she said in her most recent presser. Let's cover what voters are saying on the ground, even what CNN analysts are saying, because surprise to absolutely no one, it's still incredibly dismal from a Democrat outlook. And of course, I'll keep you guys updated on all of it. 2022 is right around the corner, and it continues to get better. We got some stuff to get into, but of course, before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this. Nancy Pelosi calls economic shrinkage an aberration and dodges questions about midterm elections. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat from California, called the latest bad report on the economy an aberration and dodged a reporter's question about how it would affect the midterm election. Pelosi made the comments during her media briefing on Friday when asked about a report that the economy had shrunk by 1.4% in the first quarter of 2022, to the surprise of many economists. Is this going to have any effect on the 2022 election come November? In the midterms, asked the reporter. Nancy Pelosi responded with, well, I think this is an aberration. There are plenty of other statistics and analyses that have said that this is an aberration, and there are many other factors that show that we have growth in our near future, she continued. But what we're worried about is what it means to the kitchen table again, not to the election, but to the kitchen table of America's working families. And man, there's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack in that specific statement. First off, there are plenty of other statistics and analyses to suggest that this is just an aberration and that there's growth in the near future. Don't you find it funny how Democrats always have statistics and studies and Nobel laureates to back up their ridiculous claims? The Hunter Biden laptop is just Russian disinformation, a bunch of national security experts tell us. Inflation isn't here to stay, it's just an aberration, it's just seasonal, it's transitory. Nobel laureate economists keep telling us in studies. Yet it's almost always total BS. And following up with the second part of Nancy Pelosi's statement, what we're worried about is what it means to kitchen table, again, not to the election, but to kitchen table issues for America's working families. I mean, the statement within itself is a total contradiction. What we're really focused on is kitchen table issues. Yet for the last year and a half, as everything has gone to crap under Joe Biden's leadership, and of course Nancy Pelosi's leadership, the Democrats have done absolutely nothing except deny the reality with every single one of these kitchen table issues. We're focused on kitchen table issues, but if you ask me about kitchen table issues, what our solutions are to inflation, the economy, the border, public safety, you name it, well, we will deny the crises, we will deny the reality that the economy is going to the gutter, we will completely ignore inflation, we will pretend as if it's a little blip, an aberration, because we're just so focused on these important kitchen table issues that American citizens care about. I mean, you guys see the irony, right? You see the hypocrisy. Democrats don't care about kitchen table issues, they just use it as a political slogan. Kitchen table this, kitchen table that. Joe Biden will go on some sort of deep, long-lost memory that he doesn't even have. I mean, he doesn't even have the ability to hold a memory, it seems, about his family and growing up in Scranton, and how inflation and the price of gas mattered to his family. Kitchen table issue Joe. Yet when asked about inflation, he states the questions are not relevant, or that Peter Doocy is somehow a stupid son of a bee for even asking the question in the first place. Jen Psaki will then take to the podium and completely disregard and dismiss all of these issues. And when questioned about the unprecedented crime spike of 2021 following and continuing in 2022, she also openly mocks it. Democrats don't care about kitchen table issues. They say they do, yet they deny the reality of every single one of these issues when they're in positions of leadership. I mean, you gotta ask the same question. If everything that is currently happening under Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Kamala Harris's watch was happening under Donald Trump's second term, midterm? Do you think that it'd just be an aberration or seasonal or transitory? Well, you know the answer to that. And you also know the answer as to why Nancy Pelosi refused to talk about the midterms. Because the idea here is that the worst was behind Joe Biden and the Democrats. I mean, that's basically what they've been saying after August 2021, after the fall of Afghanistan. It's just a little blip. Joe Biden's going to return back to normal in his approval rating. Yet things continue to go wrong one after another. It continues to get worse and worse and worse as Joe Biden remains at rock bottom, bringing the Democrats with him. Well, right before the 2022 election, Democrats were hoping for some good news. And then it turns out that it seems as though we're headed towards an economic recession. Even post-pandemic, when growth and GDP numbers are supposed to be through the roof, as the economy gets rolling again, the economy shrunk by 1.4% in the first quarter of 2022, which even CNN is now admitting is a disastrous day for the Democrats' 2022 chances. This analysis comes from Chris Cillizza, CNN's editor-at-large and total partisan left-wing hack. Even he admits that it's a huge blow to the Democrats' chances. The news that the US economy unexpectedly shrank over the first quarter of the year is an absolute body blow to the Democrats already reeling amid growing economic concerns ahead of the 2022 midterm election. The country's gross domestic product fell at an annualized rate of 1.4% between January to March, a stunning reversal from the 6.9% GDP growth that the US recorded in the final quarter of 2021. Once again, Joe Biden breaking records in all of the wrong ways. From one quarter to the next, going from growth of 6.9% to a negative reduction of 1.4% in just a couple months is absolutely astounding. Just when you think Joe Biden cannot hit lower lows, cannot outdo himself in all the wrong ways, he proves you wrong. And once again, as economic concerns and consumer concerns continue to grow to some of the most negative levels we have seen in decades, Democrats, of course, are operating in an alternate reality, avoiding the hard truth and pushing their "this is fine" political propaganda. Addressing recession fears on Thursday, President Joe Biden said, "Well, I'm not concerned about recession. I mean, you're always concerned about recession, but the GDP, fell to 1.4%, as incoherent as ever." While Germany's Deutsche Bank is expecting a recession in 2023, and markets are shaving off billions. Don't worry, folks, because economic expert and incredible genius Joe Biden says he's not worried about recession. That probably means you should be worried about a recession. It's the same pattern over and over again. Complete denial, complete delusion, a total lack of compassion and empathy for regular Americans. They talk a whole lot about the middle class and middle class concerns, but really all they do is grift on these concerns, use all the buzzwords to make themselves seem as if they're compassionate, but in reality, they just don't give a damn. And when this inevitable Biden recession finally hits, Joe Biden is probably going to do two things. First, he's going to blame Donald Trump, probably something to the effect of blaming his predecessors' poor response to the COVID-19 pandemic and the lingering effects. And then he's probably going to try to rewrite history, where he's currently on the record saying he has no fear of recession. Once it finally hits, he'll probably take the stance that, well, he's been warning you of recession for the last 2 years. An absolute liar, an absolute grifter. These people must be replaced ASAP. But of course, that's what I got for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share it as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.